Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. How are you all going? I'm excited that we're doing this thing today. How are you all? Welcome to MMW Wednesday with your girl. I'm joining you from Perth. My name is Regina. My friends call me Reg, or my son call me Reggie. Like I always say on here, life is good, God is great, and situations are awesome. When we go through a situation and challenges in life, guess what? They make you unbeatable, unbreakable, and man, you are undefeatable. This is the African story. So wherever you're joining me from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day. I am going to KISS, keep it simple and stupid, and we will be out of here in time. So today I'm talking about three things that I have realized in an African community that probably we need to unlearn if we can. Okay, number one is you will give birth like a Hebrew woman. If you are a pregnant African woman who goes to an African church, you will notice that every time you're being prayed for, they will say, you shall give birth like a Hebrew woman, or you will give birth like a Hebrew woman. Or the people who are around you, or the people who are surrounding you, will also be declaring now that you will give birth like a Hebrew woman, which is not a bad thing and it's not a bad prayer. Even me, myself, I once prayed those prayers and I still do. And I remember when I was pregnant, I used to pray that over myself. And I remember praying that over many women who were pregnant. The only thing about it is that when people don't understand that prayer, it can become a problem and it can have implications. Okay, let me give you a little bit of background information about the Hebrew women. Back in the days, the Bible referred to women who are strong, women who were able to give birth naturally, women who were capable and hands-on. The Bible referred to them as the Hebrew women, That's how they were referred to, which means they were able to push children out naturally without effort. They were capable and they were strong women. And I remember, because I've grew up in an African church, and I believe this and I pray this over my life, and it's something that I held so close to me. I remember when I was pregnant, I used to declare that over my life, like, Regina, you shall give birth like a Hebrew woman. You will not have a C-section. There is no place for C-section. You'll give birth naturally without complication. And I remember, when my water broke and I went to the hospital, and I went 9 hours contraction without my cervix being open. 9 hours straight, nothing was open. The thing was still closed. And I remember the doctor coming to me, and the doctor saying, like, oh, Regina, it's been 9 hours since you've been contracting, and yet still your cervix is closed. I think we might have to do a C-section. My goodness. As if the doctor has told me that someone has just passed away. I remember the water pouring my eyes. I remember crying. And the doctor was like, wait, what did I say? Did I say something wrong? And in my head, the reason why I was crying is because I wanted to give birth like a Hebrew woman, because I feel like if I have a C-section, it means I'm weak, I'm not strong enough, and giving birth naturally means I'm strong and it represents strength. So I protested and I told the doctor, like, no, I'm not having a C-section. Can you go and come back in 2 hours? When you come in 2 hours, my cervix will be open. I was so sure that when the doctor come back in 2 hours, my cervix will be open. Where did I get that assurance from? I don't know. So the doctor went away. And I kept praying over my life. I said, God, I will not give birth like a Hebrew woman. Sorry, I will give birth like a Hebrew woman. There is no C-section. God, you can't let this happen. You can't let this happen. I want to give birth, naturally. I want to be strong. And I remember the doctor coming back, and yes, my cervix wasn't open 2 hours after. And he told me, like, Reg, we have to do a C-section because the child work of breathing is so high and the child heart rate is dropping and he's exhausting himself. If we don't do a C-section now, something is going to happen. So I was forced into the theater. I wasn't forced. I was given consent. I was taken to theater and a C-section was done. So what's the implication of that? I put my health and the life of my child at risk only because of that saying I should give birth like a Hebrew woman, and I let that sink in, and I misinterpreted, and therefore I almost lost my child because of the implication of ignorance and misinterpretation. So saying those prayers, and when women don't give birth like Hebrew women, or when they don't give birth naturally, they are ashamed to talk about it in the churches, in the African churches, because it means that they're weak, they're not strong enough, and they're not Hebrew women because they didn't give birth through the vagina or naturally. Okay, and even those who've gone through a C-section in an African church, you will realize that they're not open to talk about it because they don't want to feel like they're less of a woman because they went through a C-section. And those who haven't had it, they will discourage you having a C-section. Okay, and this is not cool. Rather than you praying that you should give birth like a Hebrew woman, why can't you pray like, May the Lord be with you. May He protect you and the child, and may you give birth naturally, may you give birth safely, regardless if it's a C-section or a natural birth. But may He be with you and protect you and the child so that you too can come out safely. That should be the prayer that we should pray, because people are actually misunderstanding this concept, and at the end, it's putting their lives and the lives of their child at risk because they want to signify strength. They don't want to be weak, and they want to seen as Hebrew women by giving birth naturally. Second thing that I want to address is this: when an African woman gives birth in an African community and somebody call or somebody want to congratulate, the first or second thing they will say, was it a natural birth? Excuse me? That's very rude, okay? If no one has ever told you before, I'm telling you now. It's very rude, it's unintelligent, and it's ignorant, because there is no way giving birth naturally is more important than the safety of the woman and the baby. So stop saying that. It's not cool, it is unintelligent, it's rude, and it is ignorant. Number three thing that I want to address is this saying that I've heard women say. Maybe they don't mean to say it, or sometimes they just say it carelessly, in wishes, or because you haven't felt the pain of pushing a child out, or naturally means you're less of a woman. Wait, what? Have you felt the pain of a C-section? Lady, have you felt the post-recovery pain of C-section? If you have felt the post-recovery pain of a C-section, then you will know that you that give birth naturally, you are less of a woman yourself. C-section is the most painful thing that you can go through in terms of childbirth. Well, that and being tear, So you will know. So for you to feel like a woman is less of a woman because she didn't feel the pain of pushing a child out means that you are less of a woman if you haven't gone through a C-section, okay? Let me tell you something. The recovery process of a natural birth, giving via your vagina, is much quicker. Okay, the pain is much lesser compared to somebody who's gone through a C-section. Someone who's undergone a C-section feels more pain compared to the one who's done a natural birth via the vagina. If you haven't known that, I'm telling you, go into a research and you will know. Regardless of the method of childbirth, both women still undergo pain. That stigma should stop, okay? Although a cesarean section is more painful compared to a natural delivery through a vagina, it still doesn't mean that women don't go through pain. We all go through pain. So you need to stop that stigma. The most important thing that you should be concerned and grateful about is this: the mother is safe and the child is safe. So these three things, if we can, please, African, we have to unlearn them intentionally. Okay, when you say congratulations, don't ask, was it a natural birth? Okay, when you're praying for a woman or trying to encourage your sister, don't say you should give birth like a Hebrew woman. Say, may the Lord strengthen you, may the Lord give you the strength you need to give birth, may He protect you and the child so that you both can come out safely. Okay, and you that said that a woman is less of a woman because she didn't feel the pain of pushing, believe me, if you felt the pain of the C-section, you will know that she's more of a woman than you're thinking.